So let's start with question number one, Ari. Who's going to be the new starting quarterback at Georgia? Who takes over for Stetson Bennett? Because that's an interesting conversation. It looks like they know who their guy is. And if that's the case, it also means you probably got one X5-star in the transfer portal.
Yeah, so it's not JT Daniels.
No, JT Daniels is now at Rice.
I know. I'm just kidding. The man has been on every roster.
And Keaton Slovis is now at BYU. Because, come on, why not?
Yeah. So, the question isn't so much who's going to be Georgia's starting quarterback. It's who's going to be the beneficiary of one of the 5-stars who are left out.
It is, and that's an interesting question because I do think there's some schools sitting there looking, saying, you know what? If there's a quarterback that's really good post-spring in the portal, we can bring him in and give him a chance to win the job in the fall. So, and that's I don't like Kirby Smart can't drag this thing out. It's not going to work that way. Coaches are going to have a hard time. We think Carson Beck's the guy, right? He's the backup last year. He seems to have made the most progress. And so you got Brock Vandegrift and Gunnar Stockton. Stockton's younger. So I'm thinking he's the backup, maybe. But whoever's the backup stays because they're one play away from being Georgia's starting quarterback. And then whoever the third guy is, and you should kind of know that by the end of spring, that person's in the portal.
Yeah, and you got two. Was Stockton end to 5-star?
I don't know
remember.
If he did. He and Vandegrift were both very
highly rated player. Yeah. So, and Carson Beck, I believe, was somewhere in the mid 200s.
He was a 4-star, but they do like him, and I everything I've heard is that he is set to be the guy.
Well, let me ask you this:
his to lose,
because when the Justin Fields stuff happened at Georgia, I think there was a large contingent of fans and even Georgia fans that doubted whether or not Kirby Smart knew how to manage the quarterback room or choose the right guy or anything.
Right.
Like that he was kind of a mess up when it came to the quarterback position. Do you remember those days?
I do. It was not that long ago.
Do you think that his decision-making on the quarterbacks, like he's absolved of that now? Like, do you fully trust Kirby Smart to make that decision again?
Well, he's not making it. Mike Bobo is going to have a lot of input in making it too.
He's making it. Yeah,
I do think Mike Bobo knows a lot about quarterback play. So
yeah,
and he's been. Well,
if that's the case, then how could
Carson
Beck even be the leader yet? Like Bobo hasn't even been on campus for more than 10 minutes.
Bobo was there the entire year last.
Last year. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, as an analyst, my bad.
Yeah. So he's seen all this. He knows what he's looking at. So he doesn't come in having to make up ground or figure out how each guy ticks. They already know. So 224. Two current Georgia QBs could start against each other in the Florida-Georgia game next year. Listen, if Stockton or Vandegrift's in the portal, I would imagine Florida would be interested.
Are you saying that you don't believe in Graham Mertz?
I'm saying Florida needs another quarterback on the roster too. Like, they thought they were signing Jay. Remember, they had two quarterbacks committed at one point, and neither one of them is in the class.
Get whoever they want. They already know who the starter in Gainesville is next year.
DJ Lagway? No. He's not there yet. Graham Mertz.
My guy.
Well, listen.
I don't care what the odds are. I'm betting him to win the Heisman next year.
What a story that would be. And it would be great for him.
Yeah.
So I am all for redemption arcs. You know how much I like those. So
yeah, that's another
that
thing
happens
here.
To be great.
SC scout guy Gunnar Stockton was committed to South Carolina for a while, and South Carolina is going to be losing Rattler. So,
but if Gunnar Stockton is the backup, I stay at Georgia.
Yeah,
because it
lacks foresight for you to bail on being the backup quarterback at Georgia to be the starter at South Carolina.
Here's the other part: if Carson Beck balls out as the starter. He's been in college 4 years at that point.
He's a redshirt junior, right?
Yeah, he's going pro if he has a great year.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, who knows in the era of NIL? But he's a prototypical sized NFL-type quarterback. If he has a great year at Georgia, it would not be shocking if he went to the NFL. Yeah. So if you're the backup, then – and Matthew – an SC scout guy now in a little fight in the chat. Stockton was only committed to South Carolina because of Bobo. Yes, remember Mike Bobo was the offensive coordinator Muschamp's last season at South Carolina. So, but that is one that I think will be a good one to watch, because I don't think you can drag this out until the fall. I think they've kind of shown their hand on the starter. So now we just got to figure out who the backup is.
Well, the best possible thing about the quarterback carousel here in the spring and the transfer portal in general is that we're going to get to see a lot of high-profile dudes that were big-time names in the recruiting game not win jobs and then transfer, and then we get to live the excitement of recruitments again. Because there's going to be, I mean, just go right to the Ohio State one now, because that's the next question, right?
So the next question is who is QB1 at Ohio State, and this is one where, so we can relitigate Dwayne Haskins and Joe Burrow all we want. The fact of the matter is they were both first-round draft picks. So if you picked a quarterback and he became a first-round draft pick, I'm not faulting you for that. And Justin Fields, first-round draft pick. C.J. Stroud, first-round draft pick. They're on quite a run. And whoever gets this job gets to throw to the best receivers in the country.
Yeah. McCord has obviously been there for a year longer. But my understanding is that Ohio State really likes what they have in Devin Brown, too. So,
yeah.
I don't know who's going to win the job, but I assume that who doesn't is gone, right?
Right. Now, do you think Ryan Day can stretch this into fall camp to make sure somebody stays?
Yeah. What is your take on that, though? Like, don't you think that's kind of messed up?
Oh, I think it's very messed up. And I also think NIL can kind of force somebody's hand on this, because if it looks like, because this is a lot of times we see it stretched into fall camp when we pretty much know who the starter is. I think if you have that situation going on at a place like Ohio State or a place like Georgia or a place like Alabama, there will be a lot of tampering where people say, listen, you're not going to get the job. Come to us now and we'll give you a chance to start this year.
Devin Brown during his recruitment, and I never know, what to believe when people say it, but Devin Brown was very understanding of the situation at Ohio State and made comments about staying there long-term to be developed. So I don't know if it's a guarantee that he would bounce if McCord won the job.
Is that not Carson Beck's situation at Georgia?
Yeah, but I also think that if McCord doesn't win the job, then he's going to leave, because he would have been in the program now for, would that be his third year now?
Yeah. Well, so I think that's the interesting situation. If it looks as the spring goes on like Brown's going to be the guy, how many people are reaching out behind the scenes to McCord saying, you might start for us this season.
Yeah.
So,
the people don't remember this, but during the beginning portions of C.J. Stroud's tenure at Ohio State as the starting quarterback, like the first month of his starting career, like there was a lot of doubt about whether or not he had it,
Yeah.
And there was one game where he was injured and McCord started. And when McCord started, it kind of felt like if he played really, really well, that he could have taken the job from CJ.
Yeah.
And he played fine. But like McCord is a dude too. So, and Marvin Harrison was his receiver in high school.
I would say that most of the quarterbacks Ohio State recruits are dudes. Like,
yeah.
Who wouldn't want to go there and throw to those receivers?
No, I know. So, as we get into spring, it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out and if there seems to be a leader. But I've covered a few quarterback competitions at Ohio State, and they do a really good job of making sure that nothing seems apparent to anybody. So,
yeah. But that's different now. The world has changed considerably, and there will be pressure on I bet there's pressure on both people with the chance at the starting job if there's no obvious starter by the end of spring.
Yeah.
And I mean from outside.
Financial pressure. Just, it's just what it is. Yeah.